Good morning, everyone. And you, and you, and you, and you, and you. I am fantastic. Thank you for asking. I am. Welcome back to another maths lesson. Sorry about yesterday. It was a disaster. I will go into that in more detail in a second. We're also going to look at some coordinates. We're going to look at coordinates in one quadrant and four quadrants, and I'm going to talk about what quadrants mean. I'm even for the year, for all of you, but it might get a bit difficult for the second half, and that's okay. I'm even going to talk about how coordinates can link to each other. So, stay tuned for all that stuff. If you're here by accident, hi! And if you're not here by accident because someone's like forcing you, like, you will watch Mr. Harris, well, I'm sorry, but that's the rules of lockdown. You have to watch Mr. Harris's lesson. So, see you in a second. So first of all, what happened yesterday? Two things happened yesterday. Number one, I woke up and my internet didn't. And it just went, no, not today, thank you. No, I'm tired and sleepy and I don't want to work anymore. So, because I had no internet, I had to quickly go on my phone and quickly send a message going, I'm sorry it's not working. But it was probably a good thing as well because I had technical difficulties as well. Because I woke up yesterday and this is my voice yesterday. This is all the voice I had. So doing the lessons would have been a bit interesting with that voice. It came back over the course of the day. I think resting it was probably good for it. And I also went out for a run, and you'll see it was quite sunny, and I probably should have worn a bit more sun cream. So I went out for a run, and you can see, I can't believe it, all my hair has dyed bleach blonde in the sun. Definitely not grey. There's no grey at all. It's all just bleached from the sun. So we've got my captain's hat, and I'll explain that more in a minute. Let's get started with the lesson. I can say some hellos, and we will go straight over to the studio, which I always call the studio, and we have a starter activity. In the starter activity today, it's another anagramma. You've got all the letters from coordinates and lines. You cannot use the word coordinate or lines. You can either add them to the live chat, or if you're watching this video later, feel free to add the best words you come up with. You've got 45 seconds to come up with as many words as you can. Write them all down. Hopefully by now you're sitting down to these lessons with some paper and pencil, and you're able to get involved. Write as many lessons as you can. Remember, bonus points if your words are 7 points or longer. Good morning, all. Good morning, Advika. Good morning, Alicia. Good morning, Sharanya. Good morning, Georgia. Good morning, Maya. Good morning, Toby. Good morning, Bethan and Katie in Chelmsford. Good morning, Murray Minecraft. Goodle. Good morning, Alexandra and Kira. Sorry to hear you can't download the worksheet. I'll check whether the link's working. Maybe someone else could let me know in the chat whether they've had any problems with the link. But hopefully it should be okay. Good morning, Sophie. Good morning, Charlie. Good morning, Nate. Good morning, Tej in Hemel. Good morning, Rod. I don't know why Rod. Vera's saying Rod. Oh, that's a word you can get. I can see now what you're going to get. That's a word you can get from coordinates and lines. Yep. So hopefully you've got about 5 seconds left. Coming up with more. Slides, quite a good word. Any improvement on slides? Saline. Saline I like. Saline means something that contains salt. A nice word. Saline. I guess that's enough time for that. If you're watching, you can always pause it. If you're watching another time. But I'm going to head straight off to go and start going through the lesson. So we're talking about coordinates and lines. And okay, you can see I've got my coordinates. Yes, that happened. I make no apologies. I'm back. I've had a day off. So recharged my batteries. So we've got coordinates and lines we're going to look at today, mainly coordinates. So first of all, before we have my face on the screen, let's talk about what a coordinate is. Coordinates are used to plot locations really accurately. It's not their only reason. They're also used for inputs and outputs, and we're going to talk a bit more about that in a little while. But as you can see, I've put a map on the screen, and what happens is they come from two numbers, an X number and a Y number. We don't need to worry about the fact they've got X's and Y's. We don't have to get scared by that. It's just the first number is the X number and the second number is the Y number. And a lot of teachers I have talked to, and a lot of people who, when I first learnt it, say to me, remember, it's along the corridor up the stairs. So when you come into your house, if you've got stairs, if you live in a bungalow, it's along the corridor. Don't go up the stairs, because then you'll end up on the roof. And if you end up on the roof, you're going to be outside and you're going to get very cold. But some people have corridors and then stairs. This falls down if you live in a house where the stairs come before the corridor. That can get confusing. But the phrase along the corridor up the stairs helps us remember we go along first and then up. Well, what am I talking about? Well, hopefully you can see me now. I have no idea. I'm hoping it's all working. I'm using my little things. I haven't had anyone say that you're on mute yet, so it's all working quite well. Wherever you are on this map, so wherever you've got a map, you go along, and I want to go to the right, which to you means me to be going that way. I'm still working it out. I'm going to go along and then up. So this is how I say I had 4, 5. I go along 4 and up 5. This would all be far better, I reckon, if seen on a screen. So, in order to help with that, I prepared something a little earlier, which, just like everything on my technology, has decided to close itself. So I'm just quickly opening it so that we can use it live. I'm definitely not just waffling while I try and do things in the background that allow me to get away with being useless. Here we come. We're on the screen. And I even fixed my tablet and worked out why it was. It's because I've started using 2 screens. I've got a screen here, but I've also got a screen here for when I'm talking to you in the chat, so I can then look at both screens. I've even, somewhere, I haven't set it up yet, but I've also got a camera too, so that I can actually see, you can see me on that screen, but I haven't used it yet because I'm too scared. So when we're looking at, this is called one quadrant. The reason it's one quadrant is because it's only got positive numbers going up and positive numbers going out. And so, starting very, very basically, the coordinate 5, 3. This is not supposed to be doing that. Why are you doing that? No idea why it's doing this. It's decided to be annoying. It's not letting me draw. It's just doing selections, which is not very helpful. This was working perfectly earlier. I don't know who to blame. This is going to be frustrating because I was doing quite well out of showing you all this on here. Why does it keep wanting to select stuff? I am going to have to go back to the studio and apologise, but I'm going to have to reboot that and hopefully that will work. If not, it's just technology just deciding it wants to have a bit of a rest, I imagine. Let's see what this does. It's working! Haha! It just wanted to be shut down for no apparent reason. We have 5, 3. And a temperamental machine. So 5, 3. We go along 5 on the x-axis and then up 3. So we're going to go along 5, up 3 and put a cross exactly on that point. If this was point A, then you'd put the A next to the cross, but the cross must go on point 5, 3. Apologies for all these delays. Georgia, you can't be confused yet. We haven't done any questions. You can't get confused before you've done questions. Now, I say to all my students that I work with, you never need to tell me you're confused. Ask me questions. If you're stuck, especially when we've got the live lessons, you can ask lessons live in the chat and people will help you. So, you can't be confused until we've done some examples. Let's do another one to see if this one helps Lorna. Not Lorna, Georgia. Good morning, Nathan. So in this one we've got 2 and 7. This is point B. So we're going to go along 2, up 7, and put across. And that's called point B. I think I'm going to start using a finer pencil. For C, we're going to do 0, 9, because it's important we can do zeros. And I get the feeling I'm going to sneeze in a minute, so I'm going to have a glass of water and see if that helps. We're going to go along 0, up 9. Now, the reason I'm wearing my captain's hat, and so sure some of you have noticed, is because this would be how you could do mapping on a grid or on a map of the sea, and you're looking to go to different islands. You could do that, and that's one of the things you've got in the description below. I'm sure someone's going to let me know if the link is working or not. Someone mentioned that they were struggling with getting the link. Your challenge today, as well as plotting some coordinates yourself, is to draw a treasure map, either in one quadrant, and we're going to talk about 3 quadrants in a second. Because here you can see we're going along 0, up 9. And hopefully you spotted I deliberately did one wrong, because I wanted to check whether anyone was going to put something in the chat saying, you've done it wrong, you've done it wrong. And Monty Nut did, just about in time, because I know that there's a delay of 9 seconds between me speaking and seeing things and the things. So I was checking to see if anyone... Hopefully, if you were paying attention, you will see that I put that one in the wrong place, because you're supposed to go along 0 and up 9. I don't have a 9 there, so it'll probably go up here somewhere. But my point is, sometimes I put things on the screen deliberately wrong to see if you're paying attention. And I'm really pleased that whoever Monty Nut is, always forget, I do apologise. Whoever that is, I did notice that I'd gone the wrong way with it. Okay, so excellent listening and paying attention to what I'm saying. So, each of these things, if we wanted to go there, that's D. D must be along 9, up 0. So that's how we get that one, and C would be up there. And it's very important you get the numbers the right way round. We can also use these. There's a new one. And we can also do this with other ones. So, we can have coordinates in just positive numbers. But some of you year 5s and 6s, maybe even the 3s and 4s, will actually be able to have done some negative numbers before. You'll have learned that below 0, we have negative numbers. And the clever thing about negative numbers is they allow us to go down. So as well as going along the corridor up the stairs, we can use negative numbers to allow us to go along backwards down the corridor and then down the stairs. What does Mr. Harris mean? Don't worry, I'm going to show you. I'm just having a quick look to see if I got any questions there from Georgia. Just give me a question. Remember, if you give me a question, I will always help you if I can. I'll do my best. So, coming back to this screen, here we have a 4-quadrant thing. And I'm going to have a treasure map on this 4-quadrant map. Here's my treasure map. Treasure Island. Looks a bit like a face. Okay. We'll call this treasure map is on Face Island. Now, on this treasure map, we might have various different interesting things. For example, this is a shipwreck. So we'll write down that the shipwreck is there. We need to be able to use coordinates to say where the shipwreck is, but it's not plus numbers. To read this number, we need to go along 2 and down 2. And the way we do that, it's always along and then up and down. we go 2 minus 2. That is how you can go into the negative numbers to go down. We see we've got 0, 0 in the middle. We go along 2, down 2 instead of along 2, up 2. You can use minuses to go down. In fact, we could even have Shark Bay. I'm just going to draw some sharks. And one there. That's a baby shark. Do, 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 do. No, stop that, Mr. Harris. It's not acceptable. Then, where are we going to put this shark? Shark Bay. Shark Bay is going to be at minus 3 plus 2. So it's got a minus 3 plus 2 to get to Shark Bay. I'd probably stay away from there. Negatives let us go left, but then the positive goes up. So it's normally right and up, but negatives go the opposite way. They go left or down. We can even have one down here. This bay here, which has got a green beach for some reason. It must have some algae on it. That bay there is called Michael Bay. Michael Bay is at minus 3, minus 3. It's gone left and down, which means we use minuses to get there. Okay. Someone says she can't see me. I don't know why. I can see me on my own screen. It might be worth resetting your video or pressing refresh if there's any problems with your video. Okay, so hopefully you can see. This is what you're going to be doing as part of your Go Away challenge work. You're going to be making your own maps, and you're going to have 5 points that you're going to create, and 5 points I'm going to give you. What do you mean, give me? It's going to be like this. You will have 5 points that you choose where to put them, and you write down the coordinates from them. And to show that you've been watching the video, you will have, if you are doing, you've got 2 choices in the challenge today. You might be doing the 1 quadrant, and that's fine, especially if you're year 2, 3, 4. 1 quadrant is absolutely fine. Draw a treasure island on the 1 quadrant, and you will need to mark on 2, 7, 4, 5, 1, 1, 3, 6, and 5, 0. You'll need to put crosses there, and you'll need to think of things that could be there. So maybe draw an interesting thing. It could be a big rock or anything. I've done 5 for you to give you some ideas. If you're doing the 4 quadrant map, then as well as other things, remember you can put whatever you want on this map. I want your pictures. I'll talk about that shortly. You're going to be doing, I'll give you one nice positive one, but then minus 1, 3, minus 4, minus 6, not minus 6 because that doesn't exist, silly Mr. Harris. Minus 2, and 3, minus 4, and finally 5, 0. Those will be 5 points that you will need to choose what's going to be there. You'll have to put crosses on them and then choose what's there. Maybe there'll be a church or a treasure chest or a palm tree or some funny named things. And they're going to be the things you use. So if you're not watching this live, you can use this. This page will show you the exact things for the challenge section. If there's any problems getting the things in the description, okay, do let me know. I normally, I've put myself in the way, but I can, with just about this, you can see that it says 5-0. I've moved myself out of the way, because I'm learning, you see. So you can see that bottom one is 5-0 for the 1 quadrant people. So these are your challenge things. Feel free to write them down now or come back to the video at any time to come and see what's going on. I'm going to cover that up because I'm evil. I'm going to jump onto the screen because I'm important. In fact, I'm going to come mainly on the screen. Now, I did mention lines. We've done 20 minutes, we've talked about coordinates, and that's the main thing. However, I think it's quite useful to talk also about lines. And the reason I do this is because coordinates can be used to make straight lines and to have relationships. Not loving relationships. Well, I guess they can. But relationships such as this. I want you to look at these coordinates here. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. Can you see how they've got a link between the two coordinates? And because that's x and because that's y, we can say the relationship here is x is the same as y. If we were to draw this on a graph, it would look like this. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. If we then connected all those up, make a straight line, we could say that this line is all the places where it's connected, because they don't have to be whole numbers. You are allowed to have 0.5, 0.5, or even 1.6, 1.6. You don't have to just use whole numbers. But what we can do here, you see, is we can say y equals x is like the name of this line. Now this is year 7, 8, maybe even year 9 work, but I'm trying to show you how it uses these ideas of coordinates that we've learned today. Don't be scared if you're year 3. I'm not trying to make it so you have to be able to do this. Just maybe you can see where this is all going and how we can have numbers that are inputs and outputs. The other one I'm just going to show you is what happens if we got something like this. 1, 5, 1, 3, 1, 7, 1, 100. Can you all see that they're always 1? The x number, the x coordinate, is 1. That would be the link. That's what they've got in common. And we say that x equals 1. That's the name of that line. And it would look like this. X is 1. Dum, 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 dum. It would just be a straight line like that, called x equals 1. I'm not spending too much time on that. We'll do a whole lesson on this, certainly in the year 5 to 9. But I thought it'd be nice just to do a little bit at the end of the lesson, just to talk about that and say, well, that's how it works. Because it is how it works. So why wouldn't I? So heading back to the studio, we've been talking about coordinates, how they go along and up. And that is pretty much all the stuff we're going to be doing. I will eventually do a Friday game, I think, probably of coordinate battleships to practice this, because it's quite a good way of playing battleships, but using coordinates as well. I hope that you've understood. The only thing, if you're year 3, 4, 5, and you're a bit scared because I've gone through some complicated things, that's okay. The only thing you worry about is that in one quadrant you go along, then up, along, then up, along, then up. That's all you need to worry about. But if you're if someone who really loves math and it's really coming in leaps and bounds, and you'd like to try the 4 quadrants, that's your choice. I don't believe in saying you have to do the hardest work, or you have to do. You choose what's right for you. Maybe your parents choose what's right for you. Whatever's going to make you feel you can do it and learn something. Don't sit there and go, oh, I'm thick or I'm stupid. I don't like any of that, because there's no such thing. There's no such thing as stupid people, except for the people who don't ever try and learn. Because babies all start with no maths. My baby is going to be born in a few weeks' time, is going to start with no maths at all. And it won't learn maths probably until it's 4, 5, 6 years old. So we all start somewhere, and it's just learning. That's what I'm passionate about. That's why I believe that you should never go, oh, it's too hard. Just do the bit that you're capable of. So with that in mind, let's take me off the screen for a second. A reminder, we had the first quadrant was just up and across. Okay, so you only have the positive numbers going across, and you only have the positive numbers going up. In 4 quadrants, we have and the reason we call them quadrants is because there's 4 of them. Quad is 4. We can see the top right, bottom left, top left, and we can use negative numbers to try and help us move around different quadrants. Oh! Yeah, Owl always finds his way of sneaking his way into my lesson, doesn't it? I do apologise. I will try and I keep trying to not let him in there, and he just disguises himself. So that's been pretty much my lesson today on coordinates and lines. I hope you've learned something. I hope you've got questions. I really want people to engage with the comments below the thing. So if you want to spend some time coming up with the best words you can from coordinates lines, put them in the comments below. Post messages in the comments below the lessons, not in the live chat. You can use that now, but post that in the comments below, and then once you've come up with some good words, see if you can get some words that are like 7, 8, 9 letters long. I would love to see what the best word people can come up with. I will mention the best words people come up with in the following future lessons. So that's just a little bit of an incentive for you. So your challenge for today. Here we go. 2 challenges. We have a Taskmaster challenge for the week. Who can make me the best picture made only from pencil or drawn dots or pen or whatever you're drawing? You have to make a picture using just dots. As many dots as you need to. If I can easily recognise what your picture is without you telling me what it is, that's even better. It's a Taskmaster challenge. I'm going to start doing my Taskmaster challenges for all my lessons. So it'll be the same Taskmaster challenge for each lesson. So everyone goes against each other and we can see what people are coming up with. I'd love to have a section so I can show loads of people. I saw some brilliant... I saw a brilliant giraffe that I'm going to be putting up because someone was doing the animal challenge from the other day. That's a sort of lovely thing I can see where families are getting involved. You've also got to create a treasure island and use the specified coordinates that were back earlier in this video. So you've got that to do. And that's all from me. If you've enjoyed this lesson and you feel that you've learned something, please consider clicking like. Please consider subscribing if you don't already. I hope you are enjoying yourself. If you want to, you can see the links for my maths school, how your parents can post me pictures of what you've been doing. It's lovely seeing all your work. I really do enjoy seeing how hard you all work and the effort and the inspiration. Hearing the comments about some of you, I saw a lovely comment about a boy who maths wasn't his favourite, but since we've started doing these, really enjoys the lessons. So that's what I love. Send me more of that stuff because that's going to keep me going in this difficult summer period, or it's not even summer, is it? It's April. This difficult long period where we're stuck at home. You guys are keeping me going. You're all amazing. I'm very happy. Hopefully you're happy. If you've got any topics you'd like to cover, just send me an email. That's what you do. I've been Mr. Harris. You haven't. Au revoir.